All right. Um, so one of the things we've talked a little bit in the past about is the $12 trillion transfer in small businesses that's coming, but we hadn't talked about this $67 trillion wealth transfer. So I wanted to make this video really quickly here in Vegas. Shout out, actually going to be meeting with one of our good merger brokers here in a bit, Jeremy. Shout out to you. He's in town and going to catch up with some friends of mine from Chattanooga that are here. So let's jump in. Now, on the $12 trillion transfer, there's about $12 trillion of businesses that are owned by baby boomers that they're going to be basically having to transfer, whether that's shutting it down, selling the assets, leaving it to their kids, or trying to sell it. But in addition to that, there's $67 trillion in liquid assets that's going to be transferred. So the question becomes, yeah, like obviously, as business buyers, we can take advantage of the 12 trillion. And, the truth is, how much of that are you actually going to buy? I think the bigger and more interesting number is obviously 67 trillion, but it's also as far as the impact. So looking for like the trends and what you can get in front of to be able to take advantage of that $67 trillion transfer. And there are basically three specific strategies I think are really interesting and places I'm personally putting my money. So it's not just thoughts. So the first is you want to think about who are the people that are going to be getting this money and what are they going to do with it. So obviously they're going to want to invest it, but I think that a lot of the money that's in those old school companies like the Fords of the world that maybe their parents invested in, as the wealth is kind of transferred, they're going to move to these new age companies, and I think it's part of what we're already seeing. The fact that we're seeing these companies now $1 trillion companies. A lot of it's more about the social impact and the brand than it is even the economics of the business. So I think that's the case with Tesla, and one of the reasons that even with the volatility, I just remain a long term bull. And just I look at a lot of these opportunities as ways that we can get in. So when it drops, like, okay, this becomes an opportunity to get in. But I think it's not even about just the company and how well the company does in the future. I think that it's that people want to be on that ride. I think our like a younger generation that they are gonna just prefer to be invested in Tesla because of the vision. Elon recently talked about these robots, and he's just been overzealous at every turn, whether it's the Cybertruck or the Roadster, and now these robots. He's like, we're gonna have them like next year, and it's like, no, dude, you're not gonna have AI robots next year. But that really isn't even the point. It's the fact that he's thinking like that in the first place that will get people on board. And that's what, looking for those kinds of companies, I think that's opportunity number one. Number two is crypto. I think a lot of that money is going to come into crypto. It's just huge. Like this is the biggest wealth transfer in the history of the known world. Like nothing like this has ever happened that's coming down from this baby boomer generation, and we're just already seeing the impacts. Like I can see the impact as we're doing these deals offline, but you can just see the impact in what's going on. Like I mentioned in some of the stocks on the stock market, what's going on in crypto. I mean, when you consider the massive amount of money that's in crypto, this isn't just kids playing around on the internet. This is serious wealth. There's serious institutions, and as more of those institutions get on board and the 68 trillion is transferred, those kids are going to want to have a portion. I mean, even if it's 5%, 10%, which I think is just what most people will consider to be the standard minimum amount that you want in a well diversified portfolio that expands the crypto market to another level. So looking at crypto from that standpoint of not just, hey, what's going on here, but what's coming. And I think, again, a big portion of that will come. Now, the third one I think is for the folks that want to be active. So if you're looking to be active, a lot of that 67, 68 trillion is going to be looking to buy businesses. So one of the reasons that we've been actively growing and bringing on more brokers to Good Merger and training people on how to become merger specialists, become business brokers, become lending brokers, is that there's a lot of those folks that don't want to go and work for a company. They're going to have access to more capital and they're going to buy businesses. And that becomes an opportunity for us to help them find those deals and connect the two parties. Because at the same time, there are the 12 trillion that need to exit. And then you have this new generation of folks that have access to capital. And as we've seen the trends in the US, people no longer want to work jobs. And so to be able to work with people, bring on the clients like we do, help them find the right deal, it becomes an expertise that's really valuable, helping them through due diligence, helping them put together the right deal structure, helping them get access to the capital they need to close the deal. All of those things are really valuable and becomes an opportunity to not just go out and buy one business, but to kind of scale up a business on top of this trend that I think can generate a lot more money. I think I was talking to one of the PEFI members, and he was asking, actually, no, I'm sorry, he's in Deal Makers Institute. So he was asking about, okay, I'm looking at these deals. One of the trainings that I give is the difference between being in operations, buying a business and running the business as a business buyer, taking care of operations and all that, and really focus on deal making. And one of the questions is like, okay, if you're just kind of deal making, what if you just bought a cash cow? And the interesting thing is, I think for me, the cash cow has always been brokering on the side. So you have that as the consistent income while you're flipping deals, doing, creative deals like JVs and consulting for equity and all those things. The consistency is in going out and being a broker, because it's activities that you already have to do as a deal maker. You already have to generate deal flow. You already have to do due diligence. You already have to know how to raise capital. And so you're sharpening your skill set while you're also creating that cash cow. So as some of you know, we are opening today the Good Merger applications. So if you are interested in that, you can text Good Merger to the number on the screen, 585-670-6609, and we'll get in touch with you. If you just want to get on our deal flow list, just text deals to that same number. All right, let's take a couple questions, and I'm going to go hang out with Jeremy from our Good Merger team. Brandon G says, hey, Ace, deal makers rule. Yes, sir. Thanks for popping in, Brandon. Joseph says, good evening. Good evening. We're just we're just past 5 o'clock here in Vegas right now. Kenny popped in, says hello. He also says, love small businesses and crypto. Yes, sir. A lot of big opportunities in both of those, and it's gonna get really big over these next 10 years. All right, thank you all for popping in. Let me pull that number up, and I'll take this one from Brandon before we get out of here. Brandon says, Ace, why is there so much resistance personally when it comes to raising capital? It could be a few different things. Some of it is, being really confident in your skill set. So I found that the better I am at doing deals, the more comfortable I get with raising capital because I know, hey, regardless of what happens with this deal, I know that my ability is there. Now, I can't guarantee anything. And plenty of deals don't work just because that's the statistics. If Steph Curry is an amazing three-point shooter, but guess what? He misses. Like that's just the nature of how things work. But I think building up your confidence as a deal maker is one of the things that definitely helps to get over that kind of just personal what do they call it, imposter syndrome, that imposter syndrome of like, okay, should I really be out here raising capital? Pirate School, what's up? Good to see you, sir. Said, what's the holy grail of identifying good deals? The holy grail is measured on multiples. I want to get as low a multiple deal as possible. And that's one of the things when I'm talking about the impact of that 12 trillion. Like one of the things we're seeing, like we just closed this deal where it's going to be basically 1.5 multiple. Did the interview with Curtis that I think is still up here. He's talking about just closing multiple deals at one multiple. So that is the holy grail and the reason that's the holy grail is that it's all about how quickly you get your money back. So if I can get my money back in 1 year versus 3 years, and now we're seeing with internet deals 4 or 5, I did the post on micro acquire, you're seeing these crazy, the reason that that's so crazy when you're looking at like a 37 multiple, it's like, wait a minute, I gotta wait till I'm 80 to get all my money back. Like this is nonsense. So that is the number to focus on and trying to get that number as low as possible. Joe said, any viewpoint on the restaurant industry? We just brokered a deal on a restaurant. I've done a lot of restaurants. It's so interesting. So we had Andrew just did a deal on a pizza restaurant in Phoenix. The restaurant I closed in Nashville was also a pizza restaurant. Most of the time, I'm on the brokering side of those just because I don't want to own a restaurant. But that's the really cool thing is that the reason that that good merger opportunity and taking advantage of 68 trillion is so valuable is because you can monetize all the deals. So all the deal flow that you don't want to do, that just becomes a opportunity for you to earn commission. So that is definitely one of the neat things. But yes, I think they're great businesses. Just that is 100% a personal the thing for me. I'm not interested in owning a restaurant. I have owned Subways. My family did some Subways and sold all of those. It just is, I think, what you want to do. But restaurants can be very profitable, and right now you can get them at a great multiple. Brian says, any advice for 17-year-olds wanting to get into private equity? Yeah, so I think if you could find a private equity company that is in your area that you go and intern for, that would be the first place to start. I got into private equity literally by reaching out to become an intern for a company and end up buying that business instead. If you've heard that story, if you've been around the channel for a little while, and that was when I was 19. Chapman Walsh says, Ace, my brother, what is up? Thanks for popping in. Cool first name. Oh, he was adding hospitality. Now, so, it's interesting because I'm a partner in a hotel in Colombia, and we've got even in that deal, like we've got a restaurant in there, but they're just paying rent because we don't want to be in the restaurant business. But yes, so I am in hospitality. Everything is just deal by deal. Like I am not, even when I'm down on, I guess, SaaS and internet deals right now, it's just because of the multiple. So it's not that internet businesses are bad businesses. It's just that there's a ton of demand. And meanwhile, even if everything were high, then it would still be really interesting. But as long as you're going out and you're finding a really great deal and focus on that holy grail we just talked about to make sure that you're not overpaying, then all of those can be great opportunities. I love dirty businesses, laundromats, car washes. What's the typical multiple you can purchase these? We actually have a laundromat for sale right now. It's a little over a 2 multiple. And sometimes they want to take the equipment, not take it out, take it as a part, as a separate deal. So if you're looking at a car wash, for instance, you may be talking about, okay, I'm gonna buy the land, I'm gonna buy the real estate for this, and then the business is going to be at this multiple. In some cases, you can negotiate to do a lease. So how you structure that will be deal by deal, but you're still, you don't want to go above that 3 multiple for any of these for the business. That's the important part there. And then there's some other things. I mean, you want to make sure that even if you're looking at the real estate, that you are you're if you, let's say you pay cash for the real estate, to come up with the multiple for the business, you want to look at the market for real estate like that, figure out what that lease would be, and make sure that after that cost, you're still getting a good ROI and a good multiple. All right, all right. I got a lot of questions today popping in on the set. I figured it'd be pretty chill because it's Saturday. I do have the role in a minute, but loving the questions. Idarious says, I need to start speaking with business lawyers and CPAs who are familiar with e-commerce businesses. Any pointers on finding a great team member mentor with these skills? So yeah, if you're in a town with like a chamber, like most cities, even if it's a small town, they have some kind of chamber. But you want to go to your chamber, find out who the CPA or who the attorney is that is working with tech companies. I don't think, for the most part, if they're working with internet-based businesses, that's enough. It doesn't have to be that they're like an e-commerce specialist. Like a lot of the particulars that you want to be able to figure out. But yeah, in both of those cases, going to your chamber will help. ALB, what's up? Says, hey Ace, would you recommend to buy a online business? So as I was just mentioning, I think it really depends. Right now, you have to be extra diligent about the business that you're buying online. There's a lot of demand. There's a lot of multiples that are too high. A lot of business selling at multiples that are just too high. And so for newbies, if you don't know what you're doing, I'm just very hesitant to say it's a good move. But if you've got a lot of experience, you know what you're doing, then just due diligence is crucial, valuation is crucial right now with the online market. And when you compare that to offline, it's just when you got to pay 3 times the value of the business, get 3 times less ROI because the business is online, that makes it a lot less attractive. And it's one of those things where you can get more financing offline, and you can still manage that. A lot of these businesses, if you're filtering the right way, we're doing a deal in Phoenix right now. That's an offline business, but the owner of that business is running it from Pittsburgh. So if I were you, I would be looking at a deal like that. Like, how do I find the offline business that's already been run like an internet business? That's the little secret that nobody's paying attention to. Darius says, oh, and I hope all is well on your end, brother. It is. It is. I certainly appreciate it. He says you're an awesome representation of Black men in business. I certainly appreciate that, man. Any preference on buying businesses with real estate? That's a great question, Kenny. I don't want to buy businesses with real estate. I'm in the business of buying businesses because I want to get a really high ROI. My focus is really great cash flow. So real estate is a low cash flow asset. And right now, real estate is really, really expensive. And so if you're having to buy that real estate, if it were the market we were in 2010, I would be more interested in real estate, but not in the market that we're in right now where we're already super high. So it's like I'm lowering my ROI on my cash flow. I'm lowering the odds that my investment in this real estate is going to appreciate much more because we're already so high. So it just makes it a lot less attractive. There's too many opportunities to get really great deals that are offline businesses, been run like they're internet businesses, and it's just it's not attractive right now. Joseph says, "Thank you. You are very welcome. What is your opinion on buying postal office shipping stores? Is it profitable?" So with those in a lot of those franchises, in general, I'm a big fan of franchises. So if you're looking at like a UPS store or something like that, what you want to look at, there's a couple things. So you want to look at how that franchise is doing in comparison to the other franchises, and then you want to make sure that even on a franchise level, you're happy with that income. So we do a lot of deals that are franchise based, and that's one of the benefits. It's not like you're just going into that deal and you're stuck trying to figure everything out yourself. So let's say there are a couple of different options. Let's say this business is at the top. You do the research, and this business at the top of it's the number one producing franchise. What that means is that there's not going to be a lot of growth opportunity. So you want to make sure you're buying that business at what you feel like you're really happy with, and not going in thinking, oh, I'm going to double this income. Now let's say we're at the middle or the bottom. If the franchisor is able to say like, hey, this guy's involved in the system, here's what needs to be done, I love those, and we'll do those all day long, because you'll know, okay, the other businesses with the same demographics, the same walk by traffic, all these things are the same. And so if I go in here and I follow the system, then I should be getting this other result. So it's a little bit more complicated than every deal is going to be different. It's not so much like some of them are going to be profitable, some of them aren't going to be profitable. But even with the ones that aren't profitable, depending on what's going on in that business, it could be an opportunity. What about the model of acquiring properties on full seller finance terms? Yeah. So, and even selling them, like we just sold a business where, we're basically taking a payment over time for that real estate. Again, you're just doing it as if, that is an expense. And then after that, you're buying the business on a multiple after that income. Oh my God, I'm not gonna get to all these. Let's see. Let's see if I can do like a quick run. Awesome. You're in Houston. Yeah, that's gonna be an amazing chamber. I may be in Houston in a couple of weeks. So be sure to text that number. Let me know. I usually try to mention if I'm in a city before I get there. So and I should mention I'll be in LA next week. But yeah, it's been cool being able to catch up with some folks here in Vegas. Chapman says, and business simultaneously when the business laundromat is aged or under. Okay, that's in reference to the laundromat. We talked about that. Any opportunities? Kenny says, any opportunities with seller financing? Yes, that's all. We do not close a deal that doesn't have seller financing. That is a good reminder. I hadn't said that in a little while. Do not ever close a deal. That's the other issue with a lot of the internet businesses right now. It's because it's not even just the multiple. It's there's too many people. There's too much dumb money. And again, this is a part of the 68 trillion. When you're thinking about the reason, again, that I'm so bullish on good merger and why we're getting these deals in is because there is so much money and people want to do invest and buy these different kinds of assets. Real estate's really expensive right now. You're not getting a really great ROI there. So that's attracting a lot of people to micro private equity. And so the cool thing is, yeah, there are, it's like as a deal maker, you don't want to compete with the dumb money. So if you don't want to compete with dumb money, then the only other option if you're going to make money with the internet deals is to broker them. And so, when you're looking at like, okay, right now there are a lot of deals that are getting closed with seller financing. I would never close a deal without seller financing. And so another option becomes, oh, well, great, we can broker that. All right, let's see if there's anybody I had in. Come down. I'll go to the bottom. There it says fire. Appreciate that. Would you purchase a transportation shuttle service for 50,000 if you're not experienced in that area of business? There's so much more to get into. If you, I will say in the Patreon, check out patreon.com/Ace Chapman. I review deals in there. So if you're looking at deals, I have folks that send me deals and we talk about pros and cons. It's freaking $25. It's definitely, it's not I'm not making enough money for the service, but it's just to separate. Okay, we got the YouTube and then we have like, the people that are really trying to do something. And obviously, if you're really wanting to understand the due diligence, being able to do stuff on your own, I would recommend Dealmakers Institute .com, dealmakersinstitute.com. But yeah, in general, shuttle businesses can be great, but I can't give you advice on that specific one without a ton more detail. Conducting in tomfoolery, thanks for popping in, says, what's up, Ace? Brent says, how do you approach social media companies like agencies? We did do a deal on agencies and, kind of a similar thing. We want to get those at similar multiple. We did one that's on, that was social media type of agency, one that was a SEO agency that Pefi 3 acquired. All right. I do have to roll. Now I know I got to jump on Saturdays more often. Y'all are coming with some really great questions. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. Thought it was just going to be a quick jump on, but now I know Saturdays. I'll try to block out a Saturday so we could really chop some stuff up. Great questions today. I thank y'all. Thanks for popping in. Let me pull up. This is the number if you want to get access to deal flow as well. Text good merger to this number if you're interested in being a part of the Nets group of 4 good merger specialists. And if you're interested in talking more about deals and can get behind the scenes, check out patreon.com/Ace Chapman. Be sure to like, subscribe. Thank y'all. Enjoy your weekend.